how cathartic this has become for me. These videos, like, I can't even describe how much I feel my life is transforming in the last 24 hours just since starting to do this. It's amazing. And so, you know, first of all, if any of you are playing a role of any kind for any person in any place or situation, please do yourself a favor and release the shackles and free yourself and be authentic. I cannot express like how much I'm getting from this. It all just started with really just following an inspired thought, and little did I know it was going to unfold this whole world of just like personal self transformation and liberation that comes through expressing your authenticity. And it will be interesting to see if I do end up ever deciding to integrate this with my real identity and my social media, like how that will go down, because it's not that I'm fake on my social media, it's just that I've really tried to like uphold and portray this like specific persona that has everything like all together, and here I'm really just being authentic like 100%. So it'll be cool and interesting to see if I do ultimately end up combining the two. But this is like, just if nothing more, a great experiment that I suggest you try if you're intrigued, is like create a YouTube channel or some kind of social media outlet where you're just expressing yourself without like connecting it to your actual identification of your name or whatever, your persona, and see how it feels, because it's amazing. It's really liberating. So anyway, that being said, I felt inspired to make another video on my way home. Right now I'm headed home. It's almost 11 p.m. And what did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, so I was just at some friends' houses. They're actually some of my business partners and really close friends. I've become kind of like family. And we were just talking, and I realized this subject of worthiness. It's a loaded topic. It's a big one. And I think that, like, you know, one of the mentors I've studied in business talks about this concept that we all have like a thermostat, like an internal thermostat that's already preset to whatever our sort of like set point is. And when I say set point, it means sort of like your standard of what you believe you deserve. Right? So if you're accustomed to making a certain amount of money every single month, your thermostat is sort of there, and that's probably very deeply rooted based on your conditioning from your society, from your parents, whatever it is. And so even if like in a fluke event you come into some money one month, you'll probably figure out a way to lose it or how to make less the following month, so it kind of like all evens out back to your thermostat. And contrarily, like super successful and wealthy people, their set points, their thermostats are just like set really high. And so if you understand this concept, then it makes you start to evaluate, all right, well, where is my set point at? And if it's not where I want it to be, how do I raise it? How do I literally like change my internal thermostat? And so like what that brought to mind, and we were discussing this just now, is this idea of worthiness. And, you know, how do you make yourself feel more worthy of, you know, than you do currently, and then what you believe. And so this business partner, who's also a mentor of mine, a really good friend, he just gave me this really great suggestion, and he's very into like actually some Jewish mysticism, so he was coming at it from a different approach, but it really wasn't any like ritual practice that anyone's ever told him about. It was just something that he sort of adopted on his own that he thinks is like a secret to manifestation. And I thought it was really cool. And so what he said is he has 4 categories of things that he prays for other people. So that's like the whole thing right there, because it's, you know, if you're praying for yourself, you're praying to God, ask, or God, universe, whatever it is you believe in, internal resistance, you have blockages, so there's no way that those things will be able to manifest. But when most of us, when we're praying for other people, like, we don't have that resistance, we don't have those blocks, because actually we're all good people, and we, for the most part, care about the well-being of others, and so it's easier for us to pray for blessings and success for other people. So he said he broke it down into 4 categories. One is prayers for, financial abundance for somebody else. 2 is for healing or health for somebody else. 3 is for righteous children, or even like for someone to conceive, for example, could fall under that category if they're having challenges in that area. And then 4 is for somebody to meet their soulmate, so like love. And I just thought, wow, what a beautiful concept, because like so much of what we're doing when we're focused on personal development is it's focusing on the self. And we can, I've been guilty of this too, is sometimes when you're so focused on personal self-mastery, like, you're so in your head. Like, I've heard the expression, like, get out of your head, because, if you're in your head, you're dead, right? And so it's like, there's a power, I think, there's a magic to praying for someone else, and because you just, like, literally get out of your head, and you just take away all the charge and all the resistance and all of your stuff, like all your baggage. It's just like completely out of the equation. I think that's a really beautiful thing. So I'm going to try it. I don't know if that helps any of you guys. I've been working on ways to raise my thermostat. I know in like the traditional business world and a lot of successful entrepreneurs would say, well, you can raise your thermostat through lots of repetition and activity and self-discipline, which breeds basically results, which then will lead to increased self-confidence, self-esteem, which will then raise your thermostat. But I don't know if I really buy that. Like, to be honest, I really don't. I think I've tried that, and I haven't really noticed any radical shifts there. So maybe I just haven't done it right. But I feel like there's that shift, that deeper internal shift. How do you really like make yourself feel worthy of accomplishing something or attaining a goal if you really don't feel worthy? So how do you literally raise your feelings of worthiness? It's really interesting. I mean, for me, I was raised in a home with a very verbally abusive stepfather, and he was doing the best he could, of course, and I've forgiven him in theory. I don't hold a grudge towards him. I know he was just in pain and taking it out on me, but like, that shit will fuck you up. Like, really, I mean, so many years of just like verbal abuse, eventually you start to believe it to some degree. So it doesn't matter. I mean, I've done a lot of work on myself, but now you're talking about like digging into the subconscious mind. So I know there's NLP and hypnosis, and I've dabbled in some of that. I haven't really like gone all in with any of that, so I don't want to try to like act like an expert. So maybe there's more exploration there. For sure, this is like the subconscious mind, feeling worthy. But how amazing if you could really change your results and manifestations in your life just by one simple thing of just like literally turning on the worthiness factor. And I actually believe that really is like one of the biggest components to people who are successful. It's like they just believe that they deserve it. So I'm open to your comments and suggestions and tips and thoughts and experiences on techniques to do that. That's an area of focus I'm working on. And not just as it pertains to money, also as it pertains to like everything we want, feeling worthy of success and winning in life. I think that's a worthwhile pursuit. So yeah, write your comments, and love to hear from you. And anything else I want to talk about? I'm almost home, actually. See how fast that works? Like, just totally in the flow and loving these videos. So awesome. I think that's about it. So I'm going to sign off now, and hopefully I'll talk to you tomorrow.